Hey guys, so I am chilling in the living room, mostly because my new flat, which I love, is also super noisy. So literally everywhere I go, it's like there's somebody making a racket, or like, there's cars, there's vans, there's people like doing gardening, you know, what can you do? So I'm here, I'm in my living room, and I am bringing you my September favourites. So I had a few months off from doing any favourite videos because I moved house and then I didn't know where anything was, and then I ran out of loads of stuff and I was like, oh, I don't have any things to show anyone, and I didn't really buy anything. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. I have lots of exciting things for you. I have some skincare things, some makeup things, some of my favourite books that I've been reading this past few months, and then also I'm going to tell you about a few of my favourite podcasts because I am loving a podcast. I literally listen to podcasts all the time. So, you know, let me know if you have any podcast recommendations, please. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my skincare faves. This is probably my favourite bit. I love skincare so much, obsessed. Okay, so my first is, and you'll have seen me probably talk about this before, but this is the Ordinary Niacinamide and Zinc Serum. This stuff is literally like gold dust. I cannot tell you the absolute dream it does for your skin. I put it on morning and evening. After you do it after like a cleanse, before a moisturizer. It's a very empty bottle, let me put it that way. There's a new one on the way. So another kind of similar product, but this is from Revolution. Super cheap. I mean, the Ordinary stuff is super cheap too, but this is very similar price band. This is Salicylic acid, 2%, and this is an evening serum. So I put this on. You can wear it with niacinamide, which is fine, and this is really good for like blemishes, lots of other kind of acne prone skin, oily skin. So yeah, I love this, and it literally says on here targeted blemish serum. So got your blemishes, stick some of this on, you wake up in the morning looking fresh as a daisy. And then talking about cleansing, and this is the best buy of the past few months. Okay, so we all love a micellar water, we love it. Okay, we love the Garnier one, but it's £8, which is crazy to me. So I was like, do you know what, last month I didn't have a lot of money, so I was like, I'm just gonna try something else. And I bought this one from Sainsbury's. It's a Purify Micellar cleansing water by I'm not sure if it's, I guess it's a Sainsbury's brand. So like literally it is Sainsbury's own. It was, I'll give you like 10 seconds to try and guess how much this was. It was not £8, it was £2. £2, okay guys. And my friend came around and I lent her this because she was like, oh, I need some stuff to take off my makeup. And she was like, where did you get this? Because this, she's like, I've never experienced my makeup come off so quickly. So we all know where you're gonna be. Sainsbury's, picking up this absolute dream of a micellar water, and for a quarter of the price of the Garnier ones. Okay, so those are my skincare faves for September, and kind of for the last few months as well, but we won't tell anyone that I just missed a few months. So now I want to just move on to some of my makeup faves, and I thought I would share this little beauty with you. I'm wearing it now. This is the Generation G lipstick from Glossier, and it's this like gorgeous cake colour. I guess it's not really the colour of cake. But yeah, this stuff is really nice. It goes on amazingly. Also, I got one that was like a little bit broken and like the screw didn't work at all. And I literally emailed them and they were so good at sending me a new one. And yeah, 10 out of 10 for customer service from Glossier. Talking of Glossier, keeping it on brand, I just wanted to show you this little tiny Glossier. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. So this, I got it in the shade G10, and it's perfect for my skin tone. So I'm like obviously quite pale, really pale. And this is really good. And I always put it like underneath my eyes, and I use it to cover up any of the blemishes that my serums didn't catch. So yeah, this is amazing. Love this product. And just Glossier in general are really good. I also have their mascara and another couple of their lipsticks. Desperate to try the cloud like paint for your cheeks. I've got my eye on that anyway, so maybe next month you might see that one in my favorites as well. Okay, so moving on to some of my favorite books from last month. So firstly, this one from Bernadine, Evaristo, A Girl, Woman, Other. I'm guessing everybody knows what this book is about, or at least they've seen it kind of everywhere, because pretty much everyone I know has either read this, they want to read this, or they know of it. So if you haven't heard of it, you should 100% look it up. I'm very much into stories where there's like multiple stories being told. Like, I'm struggling more with books where, you know, it's just one story, whereas this is like a lot of different stories about kind of struggles for women, and it's like an intertwined story. Like literally on the back it says this book follows 12 very different characters on an entwined journey of discovery. And I'm all about that. In my last favourites I talked about the homegoing book and how that like follows multiple different generations of people, and then ultimately at the end it all kind of like comes together. And I thought that was just such a unique way of writing a book. But this one again is something a bit similar, where they tell lots of different stories but they're all kind of woven through the book. So yeah, definitely recommend getting your hands on a copy of this. And then next up is this Absolute Beauty. So this is a book of poems. This isn't the first time I've read this. I've read it multiple times since I got it. It's called Validate Me. It's by Charly Cox, A Life of Code Dependency. And this, I went to her reading, so she signed it for me. She was so nice as well, just so you know. Yeah, I went to her reading and it was an amazing experience. But this book is literally so beautiful. This is the second of her poetry books. The first being She Must Be Mad. And if you have anxiety like me, then you will literally hear your own words through this poetry, and it's beautiful. So definitely read this. It's such a nice like light read, like an easy bedtime read. I always have like it lying around somewhere. And finally, in books, okay, no judgment must be made when I reveal this next book, okay? Midnight Sun. This is the new Stephenie Meyer book. If you don't know who Stephenie Meyer is, it's Twilight. This is a Twilight book, and it's been like 15 years in the making or something ridiculous. But it's basically the whole story written in Edward's perspective instead of Bella's. It's the same book, and I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, and I almost hate myself for it, but I loved the original Twilight books when I was growing up. Like, So as soon as I saw that this was coming out, I was like, I have to get it. But also, look at the size of this book. It's ridiculous. It's like 950 pages or something. And it is all written from Edward's mind. It's amazing. It's not 900. It's 750 pages. Okay. If you like Twilight, you'll like this. I'm not gonna try and sell it to you anymore, because that's literally all you need. If you liked it, the originals, you'll like this one. If you didn't like the originals, don't buy this book. But I really enjoyed it. And finally, I just wanted to talk about a couple of my favourite podcasts at the moment. So no props for this section. Probably my favourite podcast of all time is Shagged, Married, Annoyed. And if you don't know what this podcast is, this is Chris and Rosie Ramsey. So they're married and they have this podcast, and it is literally the funniest thing that has ever been produced. It's like won awards. It's like, I can't explain to you how funny it is. I'm not 100% sure I want to say anything that they say either, because this kid's show over here, it's really crude, it's really rude, it's just hilarious. It's basically them, they talk about their life a little bit, they talk about their beefs with each other, which is even funnier at the moment because obviously lockdown and coronavirus, so they are stuck together a lot more than they would usually be. Yeah, they talk about what's annoyed them this week with each other's behaviour, and then they tell us stories from the public that have been sent in, usually really awful stories, like horrible, but just in the most hilarious way. I don't feel like I'm selling it very well, but definitely recommend listening to that if you're into funny podcasts. They've also just released a book of the same name, Shagged, Married, Annoyed. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my hands on a copy of that. I believe it was like the Sunday Times bestseller the week it was released. So where can you go wrong? You know, Sunday Times, they know what they're talking about. And the other podcast that I've been obsessed with, literally I listen to like 3 or 4 episodes a day because I've only just discovered it, and nobody told me about this podcast. Like, why did nobody tell me that this was a thing? Okay, it's called My Favourite Murder. It's by 2 friends, I think they're friends anyway, but yeah, anyway, 2 friends, Georgia and Karen, and they just tell us all about their favourite murderers and their favourite murders, and it's brilliant. But I wouldn't recommend listening to it when you're walking home in the dark on your own, and never leave your windows open. That's basically what I've learned from that podcast, is don't walk alone ever, don't speak to anyone, and never leave your windows open. I'm really intrigued by like true crime, and I'm really interested in like true crime documentaries and things like that on Netflix, and this podcast is like literally right up my street. So, you know, if you're not really into true crime, if you don't really like serial killers, you don't want to learn about their psychologies, don't listen to this podcast. But if you, like me, are obsessed with serial killer documentaries, or, you know, not even always serial killers, just like weird murders that are kind of unexplained, or there's like an interesting element to them, then definitely give this podcast a listen. Okay, so I've come to the end of my September favourites. I keep forgetting what month it is. My September favourites. And thank you so much for watching. If you managed to get this far, I will link everything that I've talked about in this video in the comments below. And please like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. Thanks guys, bye.